welcome to the Damon Floyd Coach Show here on the Buzz 101.3, where our interviews are brought to you each week by L&B Appliance on Durkee Road. And our good friend Josh Taylor and folks out there taking care of you. They're large enough to serve you, but small enough to appreciate your business. And Damon, I'd like to welcome you to this week's show. Another big emotional win. It was a region win, which means a whole lot compared to our first two wins. It's over Cleveland High School, our 8th straight win there. Looking strictly at statistics, it was pretty dead even. Our defense, again, we're going to talk about men, had another really, really good game, I thought. And we named the defense our player of the game, the whole defense, because we couldn't figure out which player to pick out. We named Knox Watson our play of the game with that fumble he forced there toward the end, which really could have been a game save. Who knows? But, man, our defense has been lights out. And as a defensive coordinator, I'm sure you appreciate that effort. It's a hard-knocking game, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, as the game, we only ran 45 total offensive plays, so
that's crazy.
We found out pretty early. Both teams did the way the game was going. It's going to be a defensive battle, and we turned it over a lot the previous week. So, from a coaching standpoint, it was, and we were being very cautious. It's like, look, let's don't do anything to give this thing away.
Yeah.
And
manage the game.
Yeah. So, once we found out how our defense was playing, we felt pretty good against the run, and we knew it was going to be tight at the end. I do feel like we had, probably more depth. They had more guys going both ways, so that helped us. But, the way it should be. Bradley Cleveland, it's a tight game, and like you said, there's a lot at stake other than just pride. There's a lot of pride on the line, but it was a huge to get that first region win, and now ready to move on.
Well, as I said, we named our defense, the Medical Center Pharmacy player of the game for the entire group there. 210 yards allowed, and that's always going to, not always, that's usually going to put you in a good position to win the game.
Yeah.
Now, they held us to 197, I think, is the official stats I saw from Coach Thompson there. So they did a good thing, and we were trying to run the ball up the middle. They were trying to run the ball up the middle, and it was just, everybody's like playing 8 in the box or something because everybody was getting stuff. You might get 2 or 3 yards here or there. Basically, there was no long gainer except Lambert. He hurt us a couple times on his rollout there, but it was a defensive struggle. Word go, I guess. I don't know if it's a struggle or not, but both teams, Cleveland's got a good.
They do.
They got a really good team.
The week before, they beat McMinn 6-3.
Yeah.
And held McMinn to 3 points, who just scored 40-something against Ray County. So they are good defensively, and I think both of us were probably pretty similar. We got really good speed, in the second and third levels at linebacker and secondary. So for defensively, everybody's trying to spill everything, and it's hard to get those outside runs against Cleveland. Because of their speed. Now, we were able to, Jay Allen had a couple of real nice long runs. Yeah. One of them, he went in the middle and then busted it. And that's the kind of things you got to do. That wins games. He may break a tackle right at the line of scrimmage, and then he runs for 20. But if you get a 20-yard run against a team like that, good team, that's good runs. You're not going to get 80-yard runs. We'd like to, but that's wishful thinking. So we've still got to find a way to expand this thing a little bit more and get, we got to get Jarius the ball. We got to get Demarius the ball. We got to get Dugan the ball. We got to get Marcus some touches on offense. So we understand that going forward, that we've got to start spreading this thing out because, like you said, there's more than we can block in the box.
Right.
There is. And for us to move forward and make a run in the playoffs or even in the rest of the regular season, we've got to try to find some ways to do those things. But right now, or especially, last week, it was just about, let's just get this win. Let's just get through this thing without giving it away. And, fortunately, we were able to do it.
Well, it's tough. It's a fun kind of game to watch. And, man, again, the crowds. Both schools had great crowds there. And that environment, it's just, everybody feeds off that. And it's fun for everybody, including us announcers. And I know it is for you guys, the players, and the fans just really got into it in a big way. Playing Walker, Cleveland, man, our 3 biggest rivals, without question, back to back to back. That's 3 stress-filled weeks. Everybody's wanting, everybody wants a piece of Damon. Hey, we need to talk about this, whatever. And I appreciate you taking time to interview us with here. But how is it? Would you have them playing like 2, 4, 8 weeks or spread it out like that? Or would you just go ahead and get it over with, play them back to back to back?
I don't know if there's a good way. If you spread them out, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is an emotional week. And, like you said, and Walker Valley's really improved. So
yes,
it's funny how much the media responsibilities has changed in high school now. It's a lot. We obviously love getting our program out there and sharing our program and letting people see what we do and things like that. But it's very time consuming. There's a lot of extra activities other than practice and game plan and stuff like that we have to take care of. But it is an emotional game, not just on Friday night, it's emotional weeks. So it's been 2 weeks and we got one more week of another emotion. Our kids don't understand. McMinn County hates us.
Yep.
You know, our kids grow up thinking Cleveland and Walker Valley are the two big, and it's like McMinn's as big as rival as anybody. So I do worry about this, and I worried about it last year. I worry about our kids understanding like McMinn hates Bradley because it is the second longest rivalry in the state of Tennessee. And those are things that we've talked about at our Sunday meetings with our kids, but I don't know if they truly understand it. So it's one more week of very emotional game, very emotional week, and you know, hopefully we're ready to play.
Well, 4th straight home game, man, it couldn't be any better. Last year's 4th straight road game, so it was our time to come this year. Grant Haney continues his excellent kicking. He did miss one the other night. We made 3 out of 4, and those 9 points he made was the difference of the game for us. And he, as a senior, is kicking it deeper than he was previously, and he's knocking them field goals in most of the time, and he's a good weapon to have out there. And Cleveland knew that, and you knew Cleveland had a good field goal kicker too, and Walker Valley had a good field goal kicker. So kicking, they call it football for a reason.
Well, you play it. Yeah, you play at this level.
Yeah.
The kicking game's a huge factor.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we play. I think just about every team we play in our region, their kicker kicks in the end zone on kickoffs, so you don't even have a return.
Yeah.
You start the ball on the 20 every time. That's a big advantage. Too. And then, I mean, we did it Friday night with Grant. It's like, look, we're in field goal position here. Let's don't force this thing. Grant can kick a field goal. You know, he did miss one, but he made 3 out of 4 in a rivalry game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. And like you said, if we don't have Grant, we don't win the game.
Yep.
So it's a team effort in the past 2 weeks. Obviously, Grant Haney's been huge for us. So he's also a kid, though. We talk a lot about reaping what you sow. You know, if you put in the work, usually life has a way of good things happening, and he's deserved everything he's gotten. Yeah. And I think he would be the first to admit, a lot of guys, some guys that don't get credit is Dugan. I about said Todd. I don't want to give Todd any credit. Is Taylor Dugan holding it.
Yeah. And
then Seth Adams, man,
yeah.
He's one of the best long snappers we've had here at Bradley. And Grant gets the credit for the kick, but that's a 3-man team, not to mention the offensive linemen. So Seth Adams, Taylor Dugan, they're a major part of Grant's success as well.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up Seth and Taylor there, because it is a synchronized team, and the kicker gets the statistics, good or bad.
That's
just
right.
like the quarterback. Receiver may take the wrong route. Quarterback, that's an incompletion for him, or an interception or whatever, you know. So it's.
Well, Grant, he's not. Now, look, when he misses, it's not his fault. That was Dugan's fault on the holds, what he's going to tell you. But I've never met a kicker that doesn't do that, so we're fine with that.
Well, he said last week when he missed one, he said, I kicked his foot.
Yeah, his hand, yeah.
His
hand.
We'll take a break. We'll come back right here in just a moment here on the Buzz 101.3. We'll talk about the upcoming game, a huge game with McMinn County. And we'll take a break first for L&B Appliance on Turkey Road. Welcome back to the second half of Coach Damon Floyd show. We're going to talk about the upcoming opponents I always like to do, and we've already mentioned this McMinn County. There is an argument between some of us. Is it 99 or 100? We think it's 100th time we've played them. It is by far our longest rivalry since 1927. And I looked the other day, our second longest rivalry is Red Bank. We haven't played Red Bank in years, but we played them in Chattanooga Central. They're like 2 and 3 right behind, and Cleveland's right in the mix now. We've played them 48 times, but it is a rivalry, and as you said, they hate us in every sport, anything we do. We're black and gold, they're gold and black. And the Cherokees come down here, and they would like nothing better. I got a message just this morning from a lady that said that was it'd be our 99th game. arguing with her. It's 100. She said, because we'll have the 100th here on our field next year. I said, well, we're having the 100th this year on our field here. So, but there's just a lot of back and forth, and great people, fun to coach against, I'm sure. Bo Cagle, he's only 1 year shy of your 17 years. He's got 16 there. He's a KGO guy. Now, he lost his quarterback in the first quarter. We don't know anything about him yet, but they lost him, and Hester came in, though, and proceeded to blow out Ray County. I mean, blow them out, 42-14, and that caught me and probably everybody by surprise because Ray and McMinn had 3 points against Cleveland the week before.
Yeah.
So what do you figure about that?
Well, you know, it's kind of the way McMinn is. I mean, it's next man up mentality, and you know, every year when we play people, you look, well, that kid's a senior, and then they're going to lose this kid, and then the next year it's like they're the same team. So it doesn't surprise me that somebody goes in after Miller goes down. Now, he's different. Miller was a little bit bigger, stronger kid where he kind of run through tackles. And then 16, I forget his name, but 16 came in, and he's a little bit more elusive. Caden Hester. He also plays safety for him. He's a good player. He played receiver, and they like to get the ball in his hands when he's a receiver. So no matter which one plays, we're going to have our hands full because they like to run the quarterback. And, you know, we have to make sure that we're gap sound and we're assignment sound on who's got the running backs, who's got quarterbacks in certain situations. So it's like having two running backs back there, and one of them can throw it. And that's kind of the way we're preaching it to our team. And in the secondary, we cannot give up just little cheap shots when they take them because they're going to if we do have some kind of success stopping the run.
Well, you mentioned in a previous interview 3 things on defense. I think assignment, alignment, and pursue the ball. First off, be where you're supposed to be and take care of things there, and then pursue the ball.
Yeah, alignment, assignment, pursuit. And our kids know that. If you ask them, they should know that. And if you don't get lined up correctly in our league, you ain't got a chance to be successful in your job. So it's the same with offense, too. And, you know, I'm sure every coach is preaching the same thing.
Well, I telling Earl on the radio the other night, I said, these kind of games are hard on us old people, and especially Earl. You know, he's really a lot older than I am, a lot older. Got to give him a hard time. But do you feel this like we do? I mean, our hearts in our throat and our stomachs turned over out there or in the press box and all that. Think, man, we're just one snap away from losing this game.
Yeah.
They're one snap away from losing the game on the other side too, and that's the way it works. Walker Battle in Cleveland, back-to-back games. How do you handle? Do you go home and does Angela soothe you, calm you down, or does she offer any tips?
No, she's just like every other fan, questions why in the world we do this or why we didn't do that. So, but you know, those are the fun games.
Yeah.
Now, would we like to go win 40-0? Of course. But usually, if you win in that, it's because the talent level's totally different. It's not that you out-coached anybody.
Yeah.
And you know, us in Cleveland, I feel like the talent level was pretty close, and it's a battle. And I know people don't realize this. They think it's just football, but there's a lot of strategy that goes into this thing, and it was a battle. And I do think that the end result was because of our depth. You know, we had a lot of guys that we played both ways, and that's playing that way. They have a lot of guys that go both ways. Now, Knox Watson, he don't come off the field for us, but he's different. He's not normal. Like, most kids can't go like him. And so those are the fun games.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you win 40-0, you're better. Like, you have better talent. And I do feel like the past couple of weeks, whether people believe it or not, it was a little bit more balanced. You know, we do have some high-profile kids that are getting recruited really high. But we got a lot of other kids that maybe their first time playing Friday night football. And they're getting better, but it takes time to get there. And but those are the fun games.
This is big boy football, we call it. You know, it's 6A football. The largest class in Tennessee, man, it's tough. What does McMinn? What will they try to do on defense? Will they put 8 in the box and stop the run?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, anybody that plays us, it is what it is. And that's the problem. We got to find different ways. And trust me, we are racking our brains on different ways to attack defenses. We know that everybody's looking at us and saying Jackson and Jay Allen. We know that. And we got to help our offensive line out because they're just more than we can block at this point. So we'll try to come up with different things and still try to throw the ball around. We got to improve our passing game, obviously, and get some of those guys the ball. But you know, as a coach, it's scary when you turn over so hard. We're going to do whatever it takes to win the game. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Well, it's going to be a fun night, Friday night, without doubt. We're going to have another huge crowd. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be, but it's going to be fun to be here. And we've had 3 good home games with Brainerd and Walker Battle, Cleveland, and I expect nothing less with McMinn County and the Cherokees. And you know they're coming down here thinking we're going to knock off the big bad Bradley Bears. You know, that's just.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, unless somebody has a lot of silly penalties and turnovers, just like any game, I'd say it's going to be another one that comes right down the end. I mean, them and Cleveland were 6-3. Cleveland scored late to win the game.
Yep.
And I mean, it's probably going to be very similar.
You mentioned penalties, far different Friday night than it was 2 weeks ago. We had only 5, I think, called on us that were marked off and all. They were not major penalties, I don't think, at all. Cleveland had some that hurt them from time to time. You mentioned at halftime, you know, the team makes a mistake, second half is going to lose this game. On our halftime interview you did, and boy, Cleveland shot themselves in the foot 2 or 3 times there and set us up in perfect field position, short field for 2 of their scores. So.
We both did.
Yeah.
We both did.
We did too. Yeah.
Our defense bowled our back on that last series, so we both were finding ways to keep the other team in it. I mean, really. But yeah, usually the team that in games like that makes the fewest penalties and turnovers usually wins the game.
Well, it's going to be a fun game Friday night, that's for sure. We'd like to invite all the Bear Nation out there. Travis Adams have his left field lounge again at 5 o'clock. Start serving a great plate of barbecue there. Join us on the Buzz 101.3. We'll kick off the pregame at 5:30. We'll have the kickoff at 7 o'clock. Until then, we'll say so long for now. God bless and go Bears.